Hello everyone. This is a video on Udyam registration process, the new registration process for MSMEs that has been introduced by Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. In this video, we were going to discuss in detail the process for registration, the requirement, all the other changes, the new definition of MSMEs that has been introduced. We are going to cover all the topics extensively. In this presentations, the topic that we are going to cover, firstly, the definition of MSMEs, that is the previous definition, erstwhile definition, as well as the revised, that is applicable from 1st July 2020, the comparison between the two, importance of MSMEs, why are MSMEs so important for the economy, the previous registration process, that is the Udyog Aadhaar number. So what was, why this was needed, also other hand, why this process was needed, Udyam registration process, how the process goes on, what are the requirements, how to fill the form, some very important tips on what would be, what on what things you should be ready about before you start filling the forms, as well as what things you have to keep in mind while filling the forms, what details are to be filled. More importantly, what would be the calculation of investment in plant and machinery and annual turnover? These two things would decide whether you are an MSME, and also if you are an MSME, under what classification you're falling in. So it is very important to know how to calculate, means what would be included, what would not be included. Another is change in classification. That is, if you migrate from a lower category to a higher or higher to a lower, what would be the process, how it would be done, what, when would it come in effect from. So this we are going to discuss in this presentation. So firstly, let's discuss the definition of MSMEs. So that is erstwhile as compared to the revised. So when you will see the previous definition, you will see that there were two different part of it, that was different criteria for manufacturing enterprises and a altogether different criteria for service enterprises. But there was only one figure that was to be considered, that was investment in plant and machinery or equipments. However, under the new definition, the categories, the criteria is same. However, there are two figures, that the amounts that you have to check before you decide whether you are an MSME and under which category you are. That is investment in plant and machinery or equipment, as well as your annual turnover. And minded that there is an and in between, that is both the categories are to be seen. Means if you are falling under micro, the both the conditions you have to fill under the micro, then only you will be classified as a micro enterprise. This definition, the new definition that was introduced on 1st June 2020 and will be applicable from 1st July, means it has already been applicable on the date of making of this video. Another thing is that these definitions are more inclusive in nature, means the categories are being widened so that more enterprises come into the ambit of the definition and they get the benefit of the government schemes of MSMEs. Now, other thing, that why MSMEs are so important, why is government so concentrated on giving relaxations to MSMEs, providing new opportunities to them, new processes to them, means a very high focus of government, especially under Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. This MSME sector has got and quite an attention to this. So why are they so important? The first thing, first and foremost point is MSMEs form the backbone of Indian economy. Not only Indian economy, but all over the world. All the economies, especially developing economies, accept the fact that MSMEs form a very important part of their economy. There are 63.4 million MSME units in India. So that's a large number of enterprises to be covered and given benefit to. And they together contribute 6.11% of the manufacturing GDP of the country and 24.63 GDP of service activities. Means you can see that a large portion, means large enterprises are working on, they provide a bulk of services, but MSMEs are contributing to the economy, to the GDP as well. They generate 33.4% of the India's manufacturing output. That's a big number over here, because one third of the manufacturing output of the country being produced by manufacturing, by MSME sector. Also, they give employment to 120 million people. And yes, another very important fact, they contribute 45% of the exports. Means if you see, MSME sector are the key, a very important pivotal factor for India's exports. And everyone are well aware that the exports are very important for an economy to survive, hence the backbone of the Indian economy. They have been registering a constant growth rate of 10%. That is better than uh, other growth industry growth rates. A 10% growth rate, though MSME's growth rate were little slower at the time of economic crisis of 2007. But if you see the figures below it, and after the effect of that crisis had gone away, the MSMEs are again outperforming the other industry out other growth rates. Um, and as we discussed, they are flag bearers of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. So previous process that was of Udyog Aadhaar number, so that was introduced on 18 September 2015. The process had no documentation was required under this system as well. No fees was required to be paid. A very simple system. You go on a portal, you fill your details, and your registration would certificate would be generated. As you can see, 88% under this were done by micro enterprises. So this shows that system was important, that the micro enterprises were so keen to register because the process was simpler. So why this requirement came for the Udyam registration number? Means if the Udyog Aadhaar was already there, firstly, Udyog Aadhaar, there was no verification checks. Means once you have filed the information on self-declaration basis, there was nothing where they could check the details from. So there has been few changes in the Udyam registration. That is, this system has been linked with GST and ITR. So that keeps a check that the data that is filled is correct and not manipulated in the sense. This keeps a better trustworthiness of data that is going to the government. And also another important aspect, that is we already discussed that the from 1st July the definition has been amended for MSMEs. So this requires that the registration be made with the MSME. Also importantly, existing MSMEs are also required to register so that the classification can altogether be calculated on a newer scale. Now we would see some facts about Udyam registration process. So this new system has been introduced, and the Udyam registration, that is udyamregistration.gov.in, that is the portal where you can register on Udyam registration. And the registration is on self-declaration basis. Which category you're falling on depends on the investment, plant and machinery, equipment, and definitely your annual turnover. The verification you not, and as I said in the previous slide, that the data would be taken from ITR or GSTR, but you do not need to submit any documents. Once you have registered, the databases would automatically sync with the ITR and GSTR data. There is no requirement for you to submit any documents. And yes, definitely, if they are connecting it to the other ITR and GSTR, your PAN number would be required. But if currently you do not have a PAN number, you can register on this system. We will discuss all this during the registration process. So here is the process for registration. In short, we will see it in detail also with all the forms and how to fill it. But a brief overview of the system, that first you have to go to the portal, that is udyamregistration.gov.in. Once you are on that portal, you have to fill in the details that you would be asked, that your Aadhaar number and OTP will be generated. We will see the process. Once that process is completed, a permanent identity number would be generated. You will get a permanent identity number, and no fees, no documents to be submitted on this. Already discussed that no fees, no documents till now required on this. E-certificate would be given to you that would be having and that your permanent identity number. Also, your data would be uh, linked to income GSTR. On the basis of data that you have submitted, your classification may or might be changed. So first thing, when you go to the portal, and there you will choose for registration for new MSMEs, you will see this dialog box over there. So you have to fill in your Aadhaar number and name of entrepreneur. Be very sure about that, that here you have to fill the name of entrepreneur, that is the person on whom the Aadhaar number you have submitted. Means here you do not have to fill the name of your MSME, but the person of whose Aadhaar you are submitting. Like for example, if you are registering for proprietorship, the Aadhaar of proprietor is required. In case you are registering for a partnership firm, the Aadhaar of managing partner is required. In case you are registering for HUF, Aadhaar of Karta is required. In case you are registering for company, LLP, society, cooperative societies, trust. In all these situations, the Aadhaar of authorized signatory would be filled. And here the name of the person of whom the Aadhaar is submitted would be filled in. Another step that would come is when you have done this step, one OTP would be generated. Once you verify the OTP with the number that is registered with your Aadhaar number, after verification, you have given an option to choose the type of organization that you fall in, like proprietorship, HUF. But you go on and choose whichever form of organization you are. Once you are done with that, you will be asked to fill in your PAN number. First, you will be asked, do you have a PAN? So if you fill in that, yes, I have a PAN, you will be asked for a PAN number. And once you choose no, it would be given over there that you can fill the details on self-declaratory basis, but before 2021, because if on 2021 you have not submitted your PAN details, your registration would be cancelled. Your Udyam registration would be suspended. Now, for the fourth step, that would be once you have filled the PAN or chosen that you do not have PAN, you would be asked to fill a form. The form would have asked you for various details to be filled in. That is your mobile number and an email ID, category under which you fall. That is either you are a general category or OBC or SCST, whatever category you can fill in over there, your gender. Then the other thing is the detail of enterprise. Now, if you have chosen that you have a PAN, the details would be auto-populated from your PAN number. Your name would already be come over there. And once the GSTR filled, other details like your location of your plant would also be taken from all from GSTR if you have chosen. Otherwise, you would have to fill it on your own. The official address, this would not be auto-populated. You have to fill it, the official address. Date of incorporation, date of commencement, the date your enterprise was incorporated, the date you commence the business, definitely the bank details. In this, you will be prompted to fill in bank name, IFSC code, account number, then the NIC code, the NIC code that of the activities that you are performing. First, you will be asked whether you are a manufacturing or a service industry. So once you choose whether you are a manufacturing or service industry, you will be asked for an NIC code to be filled. Also, do remember that you do not fall under the NIC code that is prohibited from registration, and only registration of manufacturing and service enterprises is allowed. Trading enterprises are not eligible to be registered under MSME. Then how many number of employees you have, that information would be required, categorized under 3 categories: male, female and others. And yes, if you do not have employees under certain category, like for example you have no employees under the category of others, so you can simply fill in a 0 there. Otherwise it would show an error. Just do fill a 0 over there. Turnover to be entered in ITR is where the turnover details that would be required to be filled. The turnover would be taken from ITR if you have PAN. If you do not have a PAN and you've chosen that, you would have to require to fill in there. And another that you will get 2 questions over there, that whether you want to registered on government market portal, that is e-portal by government for selling of products of MSMEs. So it would also ask that whether you want to registration on that, and a trade platform that is for trading of receivables by MSMEs. Once you have completed this step, you would again be asked to verify the mobile number. But first time when you are asked to verify the mobile number, it was for the Aadhaar number, mobile number that you have registered. Second time, the OTP would come on the mobile number that you have filled in the form, the upper side that we discussed, that you have filled a mobile number. Now they can be same mobile number, might be same mobile, but if they are different, so keep in mind that the another final OTP would be the on the mobile number that you have filled in the form. You will get an OTP. You have to verify that OTP. Then you will get a notification that your Udyam Aadhaar registration is submitted successfully. Your Udyam registration, you would get a Udyam registration number, and on the very next step, you would get a form, your process completed. And this is a kind of certificate. You will get a print option over there. When you click on the print, you will get this screen itself as a print. You can take it over there. Now, the process is quite simple, nothing much to do, but there are some procedural aspects that I said that we have to keep in mind while filling the form. Like some things that I've already covered, like the PAN details and investment would be done, self declaration it would be filled, Registration can only be done for service enterprises, and detail from ITR GSTR would be auto-populated where if you have chosen to fill it with pen. Another very important topic that comes over here is how to calculate your investment in plant and machinery. So here you will be seeing on the screen is what is to be included and what is not to be included. So the definition of plant and machinery would be same as given in the income tax rules. Hence, land, building, furniture and fittings, these items would not be included in your calculation for investments. So major chunk of investment that goes in land and building would not be calculated. So a big real, it's a kind of better thing for you because your investment come down and there are chances that you would fall in a lower category. Another thing, yes, a very, very important point, all the enterprises are listed against same GSTN against the same PAN would be considered as a single enterprise. I mean, if you're having a GSTIN listed against same PAN, again repeating it, you will be treated as a single enterprise. So your investment in plant and machinery or equipment, as well as for annual turnover, we'll see ahead, would be seen on the same basis. Also, your information would be linked to ITR. Yes, and there might be a situation that you do not have PAN, you are a new enterprise, and you have not filled an ITR till now. So in that case, the value would be taken on the basis of invoice value, that at what invoice the, for example, you have purchased a machine, and that is you have purchased for 10 lakh rupees plus GST. So GST value would be excluded and only the part that is net of GST part, that part would be taken up as your investment in plant and machinery till the time you file the ITR. Another important point, that is the explanation to section 7.1 of MSME Act has given certain items that are not considered while calculating the investment in plant. That was same in the previous systems also. It has again continued in the system, that the cost of pollution control, research and development expenses, industrial safety, and other such items given under the notification are not included. Now, calculation for annual turnover. As I already said, it would be on the basis of ITR. All the enterprises against having GSTIN listed against the same PAN would be treated as one enterprises. However, do remember that before 2021, you need to have a PAN. If you do not have a PAN, it would not your registration would be suspended. Also, the export value of goods or services or both would be excluded. Now, this is, I think, a very big relaxation to MSMEs because that definition, because as in the previous slide, we have seen that 45% of the Indian exports are from MSME sector. So this a very big chunk of amount would not be taken in. So I think it is a very big relaxation to the MSMEs so that they fall under the lower categories and a large sum of amount would be excluded from the definition. Now, for the last topic, that is again an important thing to consider, that is what happens once your investment or annual turnover increases beyond the limits prescribed. That is, you are above the criteria now, or you go below the criteria. So what happens is, so first we'll see about the graduation. That is, graduation means you have changed from a lower to higher category, moving from micro to small or small to medium. In such circumstances, the change would be effective from the 1 year from the end of financial year, from the close of financial year and registration. Like in this would be done. Then another thing is reverse graduation. That is when you go from higher to lower category. Now, for some reason, there might be that your investment or annual turnovers have gone below. Like now, first you are in a medium enterprise category. Now we have gone under the category of small or micro, as the case may be. So this is called reverse graduation. In this situation, the effect will be from the end of financial year. I mean, the 1st April that would be seen on that date, your you would be falling under new criteria, and the new criteria as per that classification would be that the benefits that you get would be according to this criteria. One thing that very important to note over here is that there is a end between the definition of MSME in turnover and investment in plant and machinery. So in case of graduation, if even one of the limit is breached, you will be shifted to the upper category. Like in case you are a micro enterprise, but you cross the limit, your annual turnover crosses the limit. However, your investment in plant and machinery equipment is within the limit. Still, you would be con- still you would be shifted to upper category because there is an and in between. However, there would be opposite case in the reverse graduation. In reverse graduation, both the limits would fall below, then only you would be shifted to a lower category. Means in case your turnover as well as investment plant and machinery both have gone to the limits that are for the micro, then only from small to micro you would be migrated. Otherwise, even if one limit is within the category of small, you would not be shifted. This was all I think about important topics that would be covered in the MSME registration on Udyam portal. Uh, Also, very importantly, to see that this process is definitely providing what we discussed earlier, that it is simple as Udyog Aadhaar, but the Udyog Aadhaar had a problem that it did not provide sufficient check. Also, the definition was amended. So this system was introduced. It covers the definition. It would provide government to cover the new definition. Also, another thing that it provides a check that your data is being checked from the ITR and GSTR. This would definitely be very very vigilant act on the government side. I think that this would help MSME sector. A simple registration process with proper checks. Definition has been very wide, so more MSMEs going. The government initiatives for MSMEs are loads and loads of initiatives by different ministries, not only MSME ministry, but different ministry from time to time have given different relaxations to them, different promotional activities, some benefits or something other has been given. So a large number of entities would now enter in this and getting this benefit. So now let's see if this gets a positive impact and whether MSMEs are able to perform even more better after this system and the changes in definition. Only the time will tell what happens. So thank you for this session and thank you.